Hello and welcome to Laurice's Kitchen. It's another episode for Stephanie and those of you with gluten allergies. Today I'm making a sweetened puffed rice treat, and we're even puffing our own rice. Now it's not difficult, but it is a two-step process. We start by cooking 1 cup of short grain brown rice in 1.5 cups of water. We need to bring this rice to a boil. After it comes to a boil, we're going to put the lid on, turn it down to low, and cook it for 25 minutes. After 25 minutes, we need to drain any excess water and give it a quick rinse. Then it needs to go in a single layer in a baking sheet. The rice needs to be dried at this point. Right now you have 2 options. Option number 1 is just leave it on the countertop and it'll dry in about 4 days. That's what I did. Option number 2 is to put this in a 250-degree oven for 2 hours. You do run the risk of toasting this rice instead of just drying it. So if you'd like to make this immediately, oven it is. If you can wait 4 days, leave it on the countertop. Now comes the fun part. We get to puff this rice. It's puffed in 350-degree oil, and this footage is not sped up. It puffs that quickly. We need to get the rice out as quickly as possible, and I strongly recommend you use a skimmer spoon. First, it's very large, and second, it's shallow. We don't want to let the rice cook because if we let it cook in the oil, it's just going to become hard. We also don't want to pick up any of the rice that stays on the bottom of the pan. That's akin to Old Maid kernels and popcorn. Once it's done puffing, it needs to come out of the oil and drain immediately on paper towels. After I got it all puffed, I changed paper towels because it does get oily. We're now ready to make our puffed rice treats. To get started on these puffed rice treats, we need to toast a 1/2 cup of sliced almonds. We do that in a dry nonstick skillet over at the stove. This is my 10-inch nonstick skillet on over probably medium-low heat. We want to keep these moving and toast them until they're nice and brown. We don't want these to burn. Okay, if you can't toss these, just use a spatula. Alright, those are done. Aside from our toasted almonds and our puffed rice, we also need 1 cup of oats. Now, I know that oats are controversial in a gluten-free diet because they can be so easily contaminated, not just in the processing, but also in the growing. Now, I do know that there is certified gluten-free oats, so make sure that you use those. These are regular rolled oats, not instant. Before we think about putting these together, we have to talk about our pans. I've got my mini donut pan and my mini muffin pan. This recipe fills both of these. We need to cover them with non-stick cooking spray because this is going to get sticky. The caramel candy that holds these all together is very simple. We've got a 1/4 cup of dairy-free margarine. Now if you have to use the tub margarine, that's 67 grams. It is whipped, so you can't use a volume measure. We'll need a 1/4 cup of honey. I'm using raw unfiltered, you don't have to. If you're vegan, replace this with corn syrup, not agave. I've also got a 1/4 cup of white granulated sugar, 1/2 teaspoon of kosher salt, and we'll be adding 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract in at the end. This is all going into a saucepan. It's going to boil for 6 minutes. We'll add in the vanilla. We're going to quickly stir it into our rice, and then it's going in our pans and getting pressed. Okay, we're just going to let this melt over medium-high heat. Once this margarine is melted, we're going to add in the rest of the ingredients minus the vanilla. It's then going to boil for 6 minutes. We'll turn it off heat, add in the vanilla, and we're taking it back over to the cereal. Okay, once this is all mixed in, we need to evenly portion it out into these pans. Now this 1.5 tablespoon disher works perfect for the mini muffins, and this number 20 disher works perfect for these mini donuts. We're gonna get these in here and then press them down with greased hands. Those are adorable. This recipe is much easier to make if you're not trying to do it on camera. It would also help if you had a second person while you were scooping these out. One to scoop them out, one to press them down. Again, these are absolutely adorable, and I could try this one on camera because it is going to hold together, but still, it's just going to make too much of a mess. So I'm giving one of the little mini muffins a taste. Nice and toasty. It's like a grown-up Rice Krispie treat. Hello and welcome to Laurice's Kitchen. Today it's I keep saying today. It's another episode for Stephanie and those of you with food allergies, gluten allergies. Today I'm making a sweetened puffed rice treat, and we're even going to be puffing. I'm making it's another episode. We need to rinse off. No, we need to drain. After 25 minutes, we remove. Then it needs to go in a baking pan. Jesus. After this part, let's see here. Now comes the fun part.